Hello, this is a video introduction to our Level 2 Certificate in Counselling Skills here at TyneMet. My name is Rob McGinley. I am one of the tutors on the Level 2 course, and I am also the course leader. So the video here is to supplement the PowerPoint that we've emailed to you. So please watch this while you're watching the PowerPoint. If you have any questions or queries, I've got my email address right at the end, and I'll be very, very happy to answer any questions that you might have. So what I'll do on the video is I'll just say next slide, and if you can click on your PowerPoint and it'll take you to the next slide. So okay, so we'll start off with a photograph of three of our students there keenly working away. We have very mixed ages and very mixed backgrounds on our counselling courses, which produces a really, really rich environment for our learning. On the next slide, if this is the welcome slide, it says today is an opportunity to meet. Obviously, we're not meeting in person, but hopefully this video will supplement your understanding of what the course is all about. And hopefully on this presentation we can tell you a little bit about what you can expect from us and also what we expect from you as being a learner here at TyneMet. So exciting times here at TyneMet. We've got a very, very robust counselling provision. We teach from level 2 right up to professional levels, and we'll tell you a little bit about that a little bit later. The course that we're offering you in terms of level 2 has sufficient learning hours for you to progress onto higher level studies with counselling, and we do have a good percentage of our students year on year go from level 2 up to level 3 counselling studies and beyond. So the level 2 counselling skills certificate is a 29-week course, 3 hours a week, and it starts in September 2020. We'll go to the next slide now. This just gives you an overview of the options that we're offering this academic year, and subject to numbers, we've got a class that's on a Tuesday, 9:30 till 12:30. We've got a class on a Wednesday, 6 till 9 p.m, and we've got a class from Friday to 9:30 to 12:30. Obviously, they're individual classes for different groups, so it's important that when you talk to Gateway that you mention the one that's most appropriate for you, and we will always endeavour to the best of our ability to fit you into the slot that's most appropriate. Obviously, there are a limited amount of places per course, so when we're full in the course, obviously we can't add an additional person into the group. However, it might be worth your while just sharing what other options are available for you. So in terms of the course, it's an excellent course for those of you who wish to get a greater understanding of what counselling actually is. And it's a wonderful opportunity as well for you to improve and to develop and enhance your listening skills or counselling skills. And those of you who wish to step up in terms of your academic study to level 3, this is an absolutely essential part of that training. So you do need a level 2 counselling certificate before you step into level 3. Next slide is a little bit about what you will learn. Well, from feedback from students, you will tend to learn a great deal more than you probably expect. But putting that more into context, we'll be teaching about 3 theoretical perspectives on counselling, person-centred being the core model here at TyneMet, and most of our training focuses on this particular method of therapy. But we also introduce you to CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy, and we also introduce you to psychodynamic therapy. Clearly, those are in a less amount than your person-centred overview. So that, as I say, just to reiterate, our core model here at TyneMet is called person-centred therapy, and that takes throughout a level 2, right through to level 3, and right through to professional practice on the foundation degree. So it's a central core of our study. But back to level 2, we'll be teaching you how to develop your listening skills, your communication skills, really, really important. Important in any role that you might have to have good communication skills, and we'll really, really help you to develop those well within the classroom. There's a big chunk of time focused on exploring and understanding yourself, which might take you by surprise, but one of the key elements of being an effective listener is knowing a great deal about ourselves. By doing so, we are able to bracket off what emotional material belongs to us as opposed to what we ought to be listening from the client. And it's a very, very important aspect of counselling training. Also, we'll be doing plenty of personal development and plenty of professional development as well. So the skills that you learn here, you'll be able to take out into your workplace, no matter where you work. The skills will be useful for you. And also in terms of your personal life as well. The skills that we find our students learning on counselling courses make a big impact on their life outside of work and outside of college too. On the next slide here, we've got a little bit more about what you're learning. Learning about concepts of diversity and ethics, very, very central to what we do as practitioners. So we'll be introducing you to something called the BACP's Ethical Framework. The BACP, who are the British Association for Counselling and Psychotherapy, they give us guidelines which underpin our practice. So we'll be starting from day one. You'll be learning how to work in an ethical and professional manner. You'll gain confidence in your listening skills and your communication skills. And I think one of the lovely things that the vast majority of our students feed back to us is that their confidence in themselves rises during the course. That's a lovely thing to witness as well. We'll be introducing you to the ability to identify and practice a whole range of listening skills and counselling skills that some may take you by surprise, some might be a little bit more familiar to you, but it's an opportunity for you to develop those further. And we'll also be teaching you how to establish, how to maintain, and how to end therapeutic relationships with your clients. And there's plenty of opportunities in the facilities that we have here at TyneMet to practice your skills with your peers. And we have 2 case studies, which I'll tell you a little bit about later in relation to that. On the next slide is your tutor. I'll tell you a little bit about me. My name is Rob McGinley. I have been working and involved in the counselling industry for almost 20 years. I've been teaching here full-time at TyneMet for almost 15 years now. And my counselling experiences started at Sinclair's Hospice in Jarrow as a bereavement counsellor. I also worked at Streetwise as a young person's counsellor, and also for occupational health at South Tyneside Council as an OC Health counsellor. I also have private practice as well as supporting professional counsellors in their development. So I've got plenty of experience that I bring into the classroom, which hopefully will enhance your learning. Next slide is a photograph of our counselling booth, which we are very proud to have here at TyneMet. These are unique facilities, and we are not aware of anywhere north of Manchester who has anything remotely like them. There's 5 small booths there where you can do your skills practice in. We'll have access to those on many of the sessions that we'll be teaching you. And it gives a private space where you can experience what it's like to work in an environment which a professional counsellor would work in. And we've set that up to look like a proper counselling agency. The next slide is about commitment. So often our students ask how much homework is involved. Well, if you were to set aside about an hour maximum a week in addition to the time that you're here, that should probably be enough for the majority of the week's worth of homework. And the next slide, a little bit about commitment. It is really, really important that you're here to experience your learning. It's very much a student-centered process where your learning takes place in the classroom. Interactions with your peers is incredibly valuable as well. So we're looking to have you here for at least 95% of the time allotted for the course. So please make sure that you commit to that before you start, because commitment and attendance is absolutely related to success. Those people who are committed and who attend on a regular basis are the ones that are successful on their learning journey. The next slide, there's a photograph of my classroom, which is the one kind of behind me, but just looking in a different way. So we've got purpose-built classrooms as well as the booth rooms. And these are used just for counselling students. So we've got plenty of information on the walls that pertain to your learning. Hopefully you'll find it a comfortable, relaxing, challenging and stimulating environment to be in. Next slide is about feedback. Well, you'll get feedback from me once every 4 weeks in terms of written feedback. You'll get verbal feedback from me from every session, and we really want to encourage your peers to develop feedback skills so they can feedback to you too. So that's an integral part of your learning and something that we try our best to develop within the class. The next slide is another photograph of Carmel's classroom. The chances are that you'll not be in that one, but you certainly will be if you move on to level 3 and foundation degree beyond that. So very similar to my classroom, purpose-built for counselling. Next slide, in terms of academic work, well, your academic studies is presented to the examination board in form of a portfolio. So there's no exam, but there's a portfolio that needs to be completed every week and submitted every 4 weeks. And the task sheets will be given to you on day 1 in a handbook, and you can see exactly what you need to do. In addition to the portfolio, there are 2 case studies to complete, which are done in class as well, and that's working in small groups with your peers, developing and reflecting on your counselling skills. Next slide is just a few of the photographs of from some groups of the past. You'll notice that there's some dressing up there. The top right one, there's someone dressed up as a witch. Now what that was about, where the students there are presenting their overall of their learning. So it's not all written work by any means. There's some opportunities to demonstrate your learning in terms of putting on presentations. Really useful skills again in terms of developing your workplace skill set. And students report on these activities that they are good fun, and we have a good laugh. I think it's important to enjoy ourselves when we're learning, as well as anything else. So just a few examples of the things that we get up to in terms of presentations there. Okay, the next slide, really important. In terms of counselling training, a couple of cautions. Counselling training is not a substitute for therapy. So please acknowledge that. It's really important that you come on the course with a view that you'll be learning the skills that counsellors actually use on a day-to-day basis. Now, there is a very therapeutic element to the teaching, however, and you will be in a very fertile environment for growth. Our students report that they do develop in terms of themselves. They do learn. They do change quite a bit as well. There's a lot of students would say that they've found it's a really useful opportunity to get to know themselves even more than they do already. And I would say that you will probably not be quite the same person at the end of the course as you are as you started. And we believe here that all counselling courses can be life-changing. If you engage with your learning, you'll find that there will be some subtle changes and perhaps some not so subtle changes. So it's an exciting process, and it's a real privilege to be part of that. There's a little bit of statistics towards the end of the PowerPoint, which will hopefully capture that information for you. So the next slide is about costs and funding. If you have any queries in that department, please speak to the lovely staff at Gateway at TyneMet. They will advise you. You can either drop in during open hours or give them a ring or drop them an email. And hopefully they'll be able to give you all the information that you need with that side of the course. So the next slide is a flavour of what we do. Actually, if you're here for the taster session, what we will be doing now, we'll just be inviting you to have a chat with the person sitting next to you to see if you can find one thing that you share in common. And what we often find in terms of counselling training is that, yes, we're absolutely unique and we're individuals, but there's a lot of shared experiences that we have similarities, and sometimes that can be a really rewarding experience to find out. The next slide is another activity for the group when they're here having the taster session. This is about you imagining that you're seeing a counsellor tomorrow, and what skills and what qualities would you like them to have. And what we find when we do this live, as it were, in a taster session is what our applicants say would be useful skills and qualities for a counsellor to have. That's exactly what we'll be learning here at TyneMet in terms of your level 2 counselling. We'll be introducing you to lots of the skills, such as being empathic, such as being non-judgmental, being able to really listen, being able to have good rapport, and be able to make those important connections with our clients, for example. The next slide is for those of you who wish to do a little bit of background reading. The book that I would strongly recommend that you purchase or hire or borrow or use our library facilities once you've signed up for your course is a book called First Steps in Counselling by Pete Sanders. We've got numerous copies in the library, but round about the summertime there's often plenty of opportunities to buy second-hand copies from students who have qualified and put their books on sale for like eBay or somewhere like that. Really good book though, totally appropriate for this level of study. So the next slide is a little bit about feedback. We ask a lot of opportunities for feedback from our students because we build our reputation and we build our quality of delivery on student feedback. So there's a few pointers here. One student said it was enlightening, challenging in a good way. Another student said, someone said it was rewarding. Someone mentioned that they had made some new friends, which they expected to be lifelong friends. Somebody said that was great fun, inspirational, a real sense of achievement, life-changing, and even one person, which I thought was a lovely thing to add here, actually said that the course had saved their life, and I thought that was a really wonderful thing to share with us. So as you can see, there's a lot of positive feedback from our students. Next slide is just a photograph of in the counselling booths with one of our students counselling one of their peers. There'll be plenty of opportunities for you to do that on your level 2. So just a little bit about our college and our provision here in counselling. Unlike other colleges, we have absolutely unique bespoke facilities. We have the counselling booths, which are fantastic resources for learning. In a lot of other establishments, you may just have a classroom where you may have to disappear into one of the corners to do your skills work, but that's not really appropriate most of the time because you can hear what other groups are saying. So we've got some really, really unique professional standard facilities for you to access. There's plenty of opportunities for you to meet other professionals in the business as well. We have a free annual memorial lecture by a counselling expert every year. You'll be invited to along to that. In addition, we have monthly half-day workshops, which are in addition to your course. We host those on a Friday afternoon, and we have some wonderful people from the counselling and mental health industry coming in to do some workshops around specific mental health issues. And certainly worth having a look. We'll tell you about those when you start the course. They're not part of the course, but they're a really useful add-on. We've also got a full progression route to the honours degree in counselling at the University of Sunderland. I'll tell you a little bit about that in a moment. And one of the things that myself and my colleagues here at TyneMet are incredibly proud of is that within the counselling industry we have an excellent industry reputation. Some of our ex-students are now CEOs of counselling organisations, for example, and because the counselling industry is a relatively small one, a good percentage of those who are working in counselling now in the area have been trained, at least in part, by us at TyneMet. So we're very, very proud of the industry reputation that we have and something that we strive to maintain. Next slide is just a little bit of a heads up in terms of those of you who wish to progress your learning further. It may serve you really, really well to think about having a level 2 maths and English qualification, especially if you're running up to the foundation degree. Gateway will be able to advise you with that. It's not necessary for your level 3 for your stepping up, and it's not necessary for your level 2, but certainly if you're thinking about higher education studies, it might be worth thinking about considering level 2 maths and English qualifications at some point in your training here at TyneMet. So we're going to have a look at the next slide now. What progression routes are there? Well, just to reiterate, your NCFE level 2 counselling skills certificate is a 3 hours a week course over 29 weeks. When you've successfully completed that one, you can then, subject to interview, start our CP CAB level 3 certificate in counselling skills studies. That will start the academic year after. Very similar in terms of time here at the college, 3 hours a week over 30 weeks. And subject to interview and success on your level 3 counselling studies, you can then access the University of Sunderland's foundation degree in counselling. And that's a part-time course that we run here at TyneMet, and I'm one of the course leaders for that. That's 7 hours a week, and that's over 64 weeks, which is 2 years. So it's a 32-week academic year, and it's a 2-year part-time course. And that course would qualify you as a professional counsellor presently, or gives you access to changing your foundation degree in counselling to an optional BA honours degree at the University of Sunderland. So there's a full progression route from where you are right now, right to having the qualifications to working as a professional counsellor in the industry. Next slide is another photograph of our students busy working on an activity in a level 2 session. And I thought it would be useful just to give you a little bit of feedback. Our feedback, as I mentioned before, very, very important. So student feedback from level 2, this is for last academic year. We sent them some statements, and we just asked them, do they strongly agree, do they agree, do they disagree, and these are the results that came back. So I have enjoyed my learning on my level 2 counselling skills course. 100% of the students agreed. My teacher has been helpful, friendly and supportive. 100% of students strongly agreed. I have learned more than I expected. 73% strongly agreed and 27% agreed. The skills that I have learned are useful outside of the classroom. 93% of our students strongly agreed and 7% agreed. I've learned a lot about myself and others. 83% agreed and 83% strongly agreed and 17% agreed. My tutor claimed that this course will be life-changing. 83% strongly agreed with that claim and 17% agreed. So as you can see, they're kind of, if you're interested in growth and change and development in yourself, this is the course for you. Just a few more stats before we finish off. This course has helped my self-confidence to grow. 69% said it certainly had. 27% said it slightly had, and 4% of our students said it had made no difference to their confidence. The course has been useful in giving me a new career direction. 86% strongly agreed and 14% agreed. And finally, I would recommend this course at TyneMet to anyone interested in learning about counselling. 100% of our students strongly agreed that that was the case. So there's some lovely statistics there from our students just to highlight the high quality of the teaching that they experience, and hopefully that they enjoy their learning here at TyneMet. Now, the last slide is just an any questions one. If you have any questions, please email me. My email address is rob.mcginley@tynemet.ac.uk. I will endeavour to answer any queries that you might have as soon as I possibly can. There's no such thing as a daft question in my world, so please feel free to ask any questions that you have. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you for watching this video whilst looking at your PowerPoint that we sent you. Please, when you're contacting Gateway, make sure that you inform them which study option is best for you. And I really look forward to meeting you in September, and we'll have some really interesting times and some really valuable learning ahead. So enjoy the summer, and I'll hopefully see you very soon. Thanks very much for watching. We'll catch you. Bye now.